Good morning, Chanukah Sameach, and Good Shabbos. It is eighth day. So it's Chanukah, and Erev Shabbos miketz, and it's hard to say quick thoughts because there's so many pages of Torah to learn about Chanukah. Sfas Emes, there's about 200 pages, and I figured if I could learn 15 or 20 pages a day, I'd try to finish it. And I got up to 70 something. So not so simple trying to learn the Parsha and Chanukah, even 8 days, but learned a lot. One of the interesting lessons of Chanukah is in of Hal v'Hodah. Hal is the nace, and Hodah is the recognition of the nace, kind of like an afterthought, trying to take a step back and kind of process it. And we know that in Alanisim, the next year they made Chanukah. Why not that year did they say, 8 days, it's a miracle, let's do the holiday from now, let's always have this. No, they decided the next year to make the nace. So there's two parts of a miracle, is to really recognize, something happens in the moment, and then after you take a step back and you realize how you got to that place and the effects of it, you really have Hodah, thanking and acknowledgement how great it was. And so Sfas Emes really talks about that it's Halal b'Hodah. There's two parts of the nace, is it happens, and then the recognition that it happened and the effects that it took, that it had. He also mentions how important it is to get to that nace. If you notice in Al Anisim, the lights is all the way at the end. Really the main part, according to Sfas Emes, is getting to that point. And without the people wanting it, without the people really wanting to be Moser Nefesh and wanting to get the Greeks out and to be away from their rule, that's the main part. The nace would not have happened just they found oil and 8 days, incredible. No, it only came part through them wanting that to happen, and to getting to that point is Mesiras Nefesh and risking their lives and their families and the future. They kind of really risked it all for the nace, for the battle, and that led to it. And that's the first part. It's the nefesh. It's the first thing is the nefesh. After that, the world could change, the time could change, but first the nefesh. And Sfas Emes says that we have an even higher level of candles now, or kedusha now, because before you only had the regalim, get Shabbos, and nothing. The chol was chol. Now we have a chance to really have this light anywhere we want. We don't have to, it's not just the Kohen to do it in the Beis Hamikdash or the Mishkan. Everybody has that ability to have this light and the ability to want the miracles. And that's something that we have to kind of, I think, focus on as we leave Chanukah. Sfas Emes talks about how you have 8 days of Sukkot, 8 days of Chanukah, that really this is Chanukah. This actually starts the year. Not that Sukkot really starts, ending Sukkot to go to the year. Chanukah really starts the year. This is Chanukah. Chanukah is inauguration, where we have the Chanukas Abayis. That's when opening day, or the Nesiim, 12 days brought their karbanos, which we finished reading about today. And this inauguration and the starting is really this newness that we're supposed to have every day, but this newness that we're supposed to feel has this power that really starts from today. This Indian of relying on Hashem actually has a very interesting piece or tie into the Parsha. We know that at the end of last week's Parsha that Sarah Mashkim forgot Yosef. He forgot him, it says twice. And 2 years were added on to his jail sentence because he had, Rashi says, he relied in the Sarah Mashkin. So as a punishment, 2 years. And Sfas Emes says something that's really the opposite of this, which I think is a big chiddush, I feel, is that Tehillim, lo pan el rahavim. Tehillim says in Mem, capital 5, hey, lo pana el rahavim. Do not turn, don't turn to the proud ones. Don't turn to the proud ones. Make Hashem your amuna, you have your amuna, and not to the proud people, the side ones, And the Medrash says, that's Yosef. And the question is, that's so interesting, because all this time, we have all these questions is, how does Yosef ask the Sahamashkim? Wait, he's supposed to rely on Hashem, and some answers are, he did his ishtadlus, well, which is fine. Different answers for that. But Sfas Emes says no. Is that, it says, Lo zachar Sahamashkim es Yosef, didn't remember him, Vaishkachehu, double Lashon. And Sfas Emes says, he quotes the Imri Emes, the Emes is quoted actually, and says, this shows that Yosef did not trust in Sar Hamashkim, and that once Sar Hamashkim was out of the prison, he goes back to his job, he forgot Yosef, Yosef forgot him. So only once did he really put his ishtadlus to try to ask Sar Hamashkim for help, and once he was out the door, Yosef forgot about that and went on his business to daven and ask Hashem for help, and kachaya. He gets out of prison. The first thing Yosef says is he has trust in Hashem. Hashem gave him, and so he never really had his hopes on the Sar Hamashkin. Just one time he had hope. He asked for the ishtadlus, and he was done. But for 2 years, or even before that, he really had trust in Hashem. And this kind of is, I think, how we have to really approach the winter, Corona, is we do our ishtadlus, and then we rely on Hashem. We don't, we see this with Abraham. Abraham doesn't want to take anything from Malkit Tzedek and the people of Sodom. Yaakov doesn't want things of Lot. He gets rid of it. He does want things of Shechem. After they loot the place, they burn it. He really just wants to rely on Hashem. I think this is a great lesson of Yosef, that he does his ishtadlus. He does remember. He asks the Sar Hamashkim, just remember me. But once, the next day, he sees he's not getting a call back from the jailers. Paro's not calling him the next day. You know what? Done. I did my stuff, and I got to move on and really trust in Hashem. I think that's a great lesson. Shabbat Shalom, Chanukah Sameach.